I criticize the NBA in the game sometimes on how it's soft, it's too many but it's by and large a great game. And that brings me to this other thing that has royally pissed me off. Amin Elhassan.
There's a lot of people pissed about this,
I'm sure it pisses you off. At least I hope it would. So now the rule change has come into play because we got these fake, how do I put this? Rasheed Wallace called it fake-ass gym rats. That's what he called them back in the day. He didn't say it to the term, he just said the term itself. Dudes would be shooting for 45 minutes after practice, after shoot around. He'd be like, man, come on, man, get out of here, fake-ass gym rats, holding up the bus or whatever it was, right? So now you got these guys who are obsessed with their stats, obsessed with their shooting percentages, that they won't try last-second heaves beyond half court or whatever it is. And now the NBA has given shelter to these cowards, shelter, saying that it will count against the team's field goal percentage if it's a miss, but not a player's individual field goal percentage if he misses. That is the most cowardly, and maybe because I'm approaching the end of certain things, I'm a little more liberal with it. That's the most cowardly shit I've heard. If you shoot and you make, it goes for you. If you shoot and you miss, it's called consequences. It's called playing basketball. And if you are, allow me to give you the floor.
Yes.
Because you might feel differently. You might feel differently.
I feel differently in this sense. I'm going to stand up for the NBA here, right? I gave him 48 minutes. I gave him 48 minutes of hell. Now I'm be nice. Without this, we are just going to get a continuation of what's happening, which is guys not only not shooting, but I said this to Eddie Johnson on the radio the other day. My biggest pet peeve. Guys that will wait and then after the buzzer goes off, then they throw the shot. Like, I didn't see the clock or whatever. That's the coward. If you go do it with your chest, just put the ball on the floor and walk away. Or roll it out of bounds or whatever. But like the guys that wait and then they put up the shot, like get out of here with that. Say it with your chest. That's the culture we have in our game right now. Guys are worried about percentages. Eddie Johnson points out your number of opportunities for heaves in a year are not going to really affect your percentages unless you wasn't shooting that much to begin with. And we know many of these offenders are not that, or not a guy who like were 5 to 7 heaves a year are going to massively affect their field goal percentages. This is where we're at. There's no other way to compel them to take this shot. Now, it should be noted, Steph Curry takes that shot. Nikola Jokić takes that shot. Matter of fact, Steph Curry has one of the most famous ones ever in the playoffs against the Grizzlies at Memphis, where the Warriors are going on a run at the end of the third quarter.
He ended their season. Literally right there. He ended their season at the end of the third quarter.
You can hear you hear it from the crowd because Grizzlies had like a dead shot clock and they're going for it, and then they turned it over and Steph gets it. And he didn't just like fling it. He had to dribble around one guy and kind of behind the back. And then it was a contested one. And he nailed it. And everyone in the building knew game time. That's over. It's a wrap. Nice to see you. Have a nice summer. All that stuff, right? It's one of my favorite plays ever. Those guys do it. I'm sure there are a couple others. But the vast majority don't. Mm-hmm. And without this shelter, as you call it, they've got no incentive or no disincentive to change their behavior. There's no incentive to change it. Like, hey, man, you should do this. And there's no disincentive. Like, hey, man, if you don't do this, there are none. So either we're going to make this rule to compel these guys to change their behavior, or we're going to just allow this to continue and everyone just kind of be deflated by the cowardice of the end of the period.
My question is, where does the cowardness end? Because there's a particular player who I'm thinking of. I mean, and we don't have to say his name. We won't say his name. No, not Channing Frye. Stop. I like Channing. There's a particular player who he will not take a bad shot for anything. So if it's 5 seconds left on the shot clock and he got the ball and he's tied up, he won't take a contested shot. He'll pass it to somebody else. He'll pass that grenade, as we call it, to somebody else, and maybe they'll take the shot, Maybe they won't, but it won't go against his field goal percentage.
Mhm.
And that player may not take the shot either because it may go against his field goal percentage. So he'll take the turnover over taking the bad shot. And that's
Which,
my
by the way,
question.
Which, by the way, real quick, back in the day, if you remember, that turnover would be on you. When they pass you the grenade and you didn't get the shot clock violation or end of period violation, the player used to incur that, and then they changed that rule. They made it a team turnover, not an individual turnover. So this isn't the first time we've offered shelter to cowardice.
Where did we raise? Who raised these dudes?
Man, look, that's a long story, but like I'll give you the short version of this. It's like this isn't stuff that comes from NBA rules or from coaches, or it's the players, man. Ultimately, what we're talking about, it's no different to me than the All-Star game, right? The guys didn't play hard in the All-Star game because the league had a rule and you would get this if you didn't, or you would get this kind of reward if you did. They didn't play hard in the All-Star game because the coaches were like cracking a whip or, making. They played hard in the All-Star game because they knew, hey, man, as a player, that's what we do. This is an exhibition for the fans, and we're selling them our game. And we want to be on the competitiveness of the moment. We want to put on a good show, right? Similarly here, guys took the end of quarter heaves. Why? Hey, man, because I'm trying to if I make it, that's 3 more points for us. That's 3 more points for me. There is an incentive for me internally as a player to do this. It's not because my coach told me to do it. It's not because there's an NBA rule. It's because I want to do this. I want one more bite at the apple. And somewhere along the lines, players became more concerned about, I won't even say field goal percentage. We're talking specifically their 3-point percentage. Because I've seen some dumbass shots taken not at the end of a clock, not at the end of a quarter. And it seems like those guys are fine with that. You're fine with taking that. But this one, you're not going to do. Oh, my holy field goal percentage. These are all learned behaviors from watching other dudes do it. It's not from any other external thing. The problem with the league when it comes to the All-Star game, when it comes to this question, comes back to the same thing. We are trying to legislate behaviors that should have been policed from within. We are trying to kind of put rulings in there and regulations to incentivize or disincentivize. Incentivize good behavior, disincentivize bad behavior. But again, these behaviors were never part of the game in terms of rule book. These are unwritten rules.
Yep.
So this is, how do you do it? How do you encourage these guys to play the way we know the product is best? You got to do something, man. And I don't like, it saddens me that we have to have that rule, but I understand 100% why, because how else is the league going to convince these guys to do the right thing pretty much?
I hate it. It's cowardly. And if there's a player who disagrees with me, come at me. I hate it. We'll be right back with the last word. Welcome back to The Good Word. It is time for the last word here for Amin Elhassan. Amin, Ben Simmons, who came into the league, I felt, with some of the greatest potential of anybody over the past sort of decade. He could have been one of the greatest player development stories. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo is the greatest player development story in the history of the game. And when you look from a physical stature and standpoint, Ben Simmons is built the same way and had a similar sort of skill set. Giannis turned into an MVP, and Ben Simmons turned into Ben Simmons. And that's not to take a shot at Ben Simmons. That's just what it is. Is there a career for him to be salvaged? Because it appears that he was offered a contract by the Knicks. He turned it down. He and his agent, Bernie Lee, split. It's looking to some degree like Ben Simmons is not long for the NBA, if he ever actually was long for the NBA. How do we look at Ben Simmons?
His career or right now?
Both. Both of them,
His
Skip.
career, his career, it's sad, right? When the 2021 conference semifinals happened and the whole shenanigans with Atlanta, I remember a lot of people made a big, oh, the guy can't shoot. You got to learn how to shoot. And I'm like, I said, he literally can not improve one bit from this stage right here, and if he does this for like 6 more years, he'll probably be a Hall of Famer. Because he was an excellent rebounder, excellent transition, led the league, I believe, in assists that led to threes.
And led the league in steals, I think.
Steals, top tier defensive player, great size, play up, play down. On the only thing he couldn't do was really score. So to me, I was like, Ben Simmons, my problem with you isn't that you can't shoot. My problem with you is that you allow your inability to shoot to impact how you play. And so, and I told the story, I can't remember, I think I said this on my podcast, Basketball Illuminati, but when we got Shaq in Phoenix, when I was working for the Suns, obviously Shaq, not a great free throw percentage shooter, got to the practice court, the guy's draining everything. Incredible shooter. So it was all mental for Shaq. And what would end up happening is when he get to the free throw line, he turned and look at the bench because he was looking for some sort of reassurance. And Phil Weber, who was our one of our assistant coaches, was one that told him, like, hey, just go up there and shoot it, man. Don't worry about it. You getting to the free throw line is already a success for us. It's already a win. You go 0 for 20. Guess what? They got players in foul trouble. They're in the penalty. Every time they foul Steve Nash, 80 feet from the basket, as he brings it up, he gets to shoot 2 free throws as a 90+% free throw shooter. Amari Stoudemire was an 80% free throw shooter. Leandro Barbosa, Boris Diaw, Raja Bell, Grant Hill. Like, there was no shortage of good free throw shooters that we had. So that him putting the other team, all these were all positives. And you know what happened? Once we removed the burden of like, yo, you got to make these, man, he became a better free throw shooter. And I said the same thing about Ben Simmons. All he needed to do was be encouraged. Just keep being aggressive, man. Keep being aggressive. But that didn't happen. And obviously injuries also play a part in this story, but it really is kind of a sad tale of, like you said, the potential to be everything out there and to walk away kind of a laughing stock from the game.
This is what I will say. I wonder what his career looks like if Twitter doesn't exist.
Oof.
If Twitter doesn't exist as a place to clown you, because if you think about it, guys don't like jumping when someone's about to dunk on them to try to block the dunk because Twitter's going to clown you. Or if you get crossed over, Twitter's going to clown you. Or whatever it is, Twitter's going to clown you. I think that was just as much of a mental block for Ben Simmons as much as everything else that was in front of him. As much as even the lack of desire to want to. Because it felt like the more people told him you should shoot, he said, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to do all the other things to prove to, like, just like in a defiant kind of way.
Right.
And I felt like it cost him and it cost us as a basketball public, because this is somebody who, from a talent perspective, should still be in his prime, should still be one of the sort of torchbearers in this league.
You know what? I'm sure Twitter didn't help, but I think the thing that rocked his confidence more than anything was the comments made by Joel Embiid, Doc Rivers, and Daryl Morey shortly after that 7-game loss to the Hawks. They left him out to dry, and I can see how that would shake my confidence in the organization I play for, and maybe even the confidence in myself. I think he, as I said at the time, also contributed a lot to his issues by the way he handled it, but I understand. And to me, that's way more devastating than people on Twitter making jokes about this, that, or the other. And we also have to, again, acknowledge the role that injuries, especially when we talk about back injuries.
Yeah.
That it's a lot more debilitating than a lot of people, I think, understand. But man, like, again, there's a way this all plays out that it didn't have to be like this. I guess that's my thing. Is like all of those are valid excuses and reasons. And also, it didn't have to be that way, man. It didn't have to be that way. And it starts with before that Trae Young play. Maybe that entire season, maybe the season before. Hey man, stop worrying about it. Go get fouled, go to the free throw line. Doesn't matter. We want you there. Even with the clock, we're down to 2 seconds left and we're down 2. And you're at the free throw line. We want you there. We want you there. There's no part of this where you're going to let us down. You have to remove the stigma because, again, like going back to Shaq, it was the idea. People were like, I don't think it had anything to do with the crowd. although the groans of the crowd don't help.
Yeah.
I think it had to do with, man, I'm going to let my teammates down. They're counting on me and I can't deliver. And once we remove that stigma from it for Shaq, he became so much better as a free throw shooter. I think he had his second best season. Early on in his career, he was actually not a bad free throw shooter. Then he got really bad. But basically, that was the high water mark for him post Orlando for sure. But it was always about removing the stigma of how we feel. And I think, I don't know if Ben Simmons ever had that given to him. At the same time, from things that I hear, he's a kind of a jerk, so it makes it a little easier to not want to give that guy the grace or whatever. I don't know. But all what I do know is it didn't have to end up the way it did.
Look, man, the one thing that's important to say, that free throw line is a crazy relationship between players in the free throw line. Nick Anderson, he was never the same after the 1995 NBA Finals. When he missed those 4 free throws in Game 1 against the Houston Rockets, never. I want to say he wound up dropping down to like a 39% free throw shooter, like a couple of years later. Like he was just never the same dude. Like it's amazing how the most uber confident, uber masculine guys can be brought down to size with a relationship that only has to do with them in the rim.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it's wild, man. But it's also the loneliest place, right? It's the loneliest place. I my kid is a high school basketball player, and I tell my kid all the time, like, when you're playing basketball, it's constant decision making. Is this a good shot? Can I get a better shot? Can I create a better shot for someone else? Can I just get the ball to someone else and they'll create a better shot based on what's happening? Do I shoot it now? Do I shoot it later? Closer? Do I step back? Do I go right? Do I go left? Do I spin here? Do I not spin? Do I fake? Do I just go straight up? There's a lot of decisions that you're constantly making as a basketball player. The only time you don't have to make a decision at the free throw line. All you got to do is shoot it. No one's going to say you should have passed it. No one's going to say, oh, you shot it too quick. No one's going to say, oh, you should have got a better shot. You just stand there and shoot it. So in reality, that should be the simplest task that you have to make. But I think sometimes when you have a simple task like that, it removes the ability to blame something else for your failure. If I drive and man, you brought your man around to me, man. You got to move, right? You got to cut or whatever. Or like, oh man, I had to take that shot, man. The clock was running out. Oh man, like he pushed me, and that's why I kind of. You got all these excuses. This is the only one, right. Man. Ain't no defender, ain't no teammates. It's just you.
You know what the crazy thing is, and the thing that I think we don't give much credence to, is you're playing basketball at a super high pace. Your heart is just going so fast, and you have to be on tilt. When you get to the free throw line, you have to do the exact opposite. You have
calm
to
everything down.
Calm everything down, slow everything down. And that's why I think guys can make free throws in practice and they can't do them in games. Because it's literally, even as fast as you're going in practice, you ain't going game speed all the time. And then when you're shooting free throws at the end of practice, you're in a consistent, calm setting where it's just ball back, ball back, ball back. And you're going to find the rhythm one way or the other because your heart is not speeding.
Right.
And you can't simulate that. You can't change any of that. That's a relationship betwixt you and the rim.